Okay, we are back with that Krag Handguard. I pulled it off, and this is, let me zoom out a little bit, there you go. This is actually what you're kind of looking for. There's quite a bit of epoxy on the top. That's to seal the crack on top. We may have to put a little bit more. I can feel my thumb in there. But underneath you have a really good strong repair. It feels pretty solid. You know, it looks like shit. I mean, I'll be totally honest. But this is where you bring your dremel in, and you're basically just going to start kind of filing this area out. You know, don't worry about making a mess on the back. Because you're basically just going to be going in and shaping this with your Dremel tool. You can use a different, obviously this is not really that good of a bit. I have to get a better sanding disc. I have to use a better one. But you can basically go in and you can just kind of rough shape it with the Dremel. Trim off the excess fiberglass. And this thing will actually look really, really nice once it's done. I would recommend wearing gloves because this is fiberglass. The stuff does get everywhere. You probably want to use a mask just to be on the safe side, because you never know what's in the air when you're doing your grind work. You don't want to grind too much. You don't want to like grind this thing like deep. You just want to kind of keep this nice and even so when it's popped back on the barrel, it doesn't look all, you know, kind of half-assed. You can trim some of this off if you want before you start. You know, totally up to you. This can also be used to trim up the epoxy on the top. Again, you don't want to start grinding into the wood. You just kind of want to lightly trim up. I usually don't use Dremels for this. I actually use a file. And I'll take a file, a wet file, and I'll run it over it, and you'll end up with a very nice, clean surface to work with. I'll probably actually go inside and show that to you because we're losing light. It's getting dark. And I'll show you how I do that with a file and just water. And it actually kind of acts as a lubricant. We'll trim this up really nice. You won't see any of this. Once I actually dress this completely, get it perfect, you won't even hardly see the crack at all. It'll be a nice, very strong, solid repair for your, your Krag rifle. Because again, these are very common breaks for this type of rifle, mainly because of these spring clips. So next we're going to move to some filing with water and a metal file to kind of bring this down, get this all nice and even. It actually cuts quite quickly. And then we'll double check the integrity of everything. We might need to do some fill and some light sanding, kind of get this thing nice and perfect, and then we'll stain it and seal it and be good to go. Hey YouTube, we are back with the Krag Handguard. You can see where I've actually dressed this area up. See how nice that looks? And this area still needs help. What I'm actually doing is I'm using water and a file. Standard, I don't know, this is a crosscut file. And so what I'm actually doing is using the water as lubricant so that the file doesn't get clogged up with shavings from the epoxy. And I'm just kind of lightly shaping the top of the handguard and shaving off the epoxy. You don't want to cut too much because obviously you're going to start cutting into the wood and then you have a whole other set of problems. When this is done, I'm going to put a nice stain on it and then a top coat, and this is going to be pretty much ready for install. I still have to dress up the bottom, but that's mostly done. You can kind of see, I'll have to clean this area up real good here and up in here, but the main thing I want to do is minimize the crack on top. You can see where I've done it here. It's turned out actually pretty nice. The crack is pretty minimal. I need to put another little bead of epoxy in there to build that area up so you don't have any indentations that then when the top coat is applied that the eye will pick up that this thing's been repaired. Obviously you want to tell people that this is a repaired handguard. The repair won't be completely invisible, but it'll look 1,000 times better than it did when we started. And it'll be strong, and they won't have to worry about this thing cracking ever again. So when we come back, I will show you the finished product with the completely dressed and sealed and whatnot handguard that's pretty much ready to install. This will all be cleaned up, everything will be nice, have a nice beautiful stain on it, and even with this wood on the water on there, you're all seeing a lot of the minimizing of the actual crack. So stay tuned. Okay, and we're back with the Krag handguard. You can see this was the actual Krag handguard that we started working on. Didn't flim-flam by taking another one and saying, oh, hey, look how great it is. No, this is the actual one. There's the epoxy with the fiberglass. I'm going to dress this up a little bit more, and then I'm going to stain it so it has a much better, little cleaner look. But you can tell, there's a couple of high spots that I had to fill, or actually low spots that I had to fill. You maybe not be able to see them. Let me get in closer. There, you see the shiny spots in the on the stock or on the handguard. But overall, the crack has mostly disappeared. It's really, really strong. I mean, I'm not going to squeeze the heck out of it, so maybe not it cracks because I don't want that. But I'm confident that once it's installed on a barrel, that it should be pretty much as good to go. I'm going to dress this up a little bit more, and probably then just touch it up with the stain and then top coat. But like I said, you can see we went from a completely cracked handguard to a very serviceable, very nice, and no one's going to ever be able to see underneath that the handguard itself is cracked. So I mean, it's something that was pretty much junk that a lot of people would maybe just throw out. So something that you can actually use. So then the process was basically was as I showed before, was wet filing, which I like to do, and then wet sanding, and then once that was mostly the contours were about perfect, then I let it dry real good. Did a final sand with a sanding block to kind of knock down any of the high edges, the high spots, and any of the like the whiskers that pop up on the wood when you're when it's wet. Then I stained it with Phoebing's leather dye. I used the light brown leather dye, which gave it that kind of reddish, brownish look that was found on a lot of the weapons at the turn of the century in the United States. And then it had a coat of poly. I actually, the low spots kind of showed up after, so that was sort of my bad. I should have actually completed. And ideally, you want to actually get your wood as perfect as possible when you're working on it before you put your top coat. I kind of went a little backwards, but this is not that big of a deal. I can clean this up and fix it up, and again, you won't even notice. But like I said, I went from a completely cracked, useless handguard to a very serviceable handguard, something that will last for years to come. You shouldn't really have any problems with it. The spring clips are good. The rivets are solid. There's a pretty thick coat of fiberglass in there. So if for whatever reason, you might want to check your wood to wood contact. This is the Berthier rifle stock, obviously, which is not appropriate. But when you put it on your rifle, you want to make sure that there's a nice seam there, or even if there is a little bit of a gap, yes, I know, the gap should be at least even across the way, because some rifles weren't exactly perfect. So, but yeah, this is pretty much good to go. Like I said, touch up a couple of spots, take care of the baby apparently, and we're good to go. So please subscribe if you like the work that I do. I'll have all kinds of other videos coming up, and thanks for watching.